I'm going to read to you Dr. Garrett's email from July 13th, 2024. He said, Andrew, I agree with Dr. Coplan. Despite your gains in socializing, you seem to be drifting farther and farther away from recovery. It's quite easy to demonstrate how it's your own mind that is gaslighting you, not your family and doctors. Here's one example among many. Your mind tells you that a group of conspirators, your family, your doctors, and so on, convinced you to take PrEP. Quite the opposite occurred. I know you saved my emails, so you could probably find one in which I personally assured you that the chance you had acquired HIV by stepping on something was nil. Andrew, it was you that was worried. It was you that decided to take PrEP. You and only you. Everyone tried to reassure you, but your mind would not listen. Your psychiatric condition is falsifying not only the current intentions of people around you, turning them into persecutors, but it is also eroding the memory of your life as it has actually occurred. Your mind is falsifying your life history. I urge you to not give in to this trend. As if this sequence weren't bad enough, an idea of reference has convinced you that taking HIV PrEP has in some way increased your risk for HIV, which accounts for your persistent anxiety about HIV. The letters HIV occur in both the phrase HIV and HIV PrEP, but it's an idea of reference to conclude that HIV PrEP increases the risk of HIV just because of the overlap of three letters. In recent months, your typical email has the following two-part structure. In the first part of the email, you elaborate a daydream that family, friends, and doctors are lying to you, but you know the truth, and you insist that they confess. You then say that you suspect that the delusion is true, but there is no objective evidence. Then in the second part of the email, you write, or it could be true that my family are not lying, where you appear to be in touch with reality. It should make you anxious that your mind goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between these two opposite positions. But the fact your mind goes around in circles like this doesn't seem to concern you. What seems to concern you is a persistent belief that everyone is lying to you, not that your mind goes around in circles. Continuing in groups and with medication may help stop this downward spiral. I am afraid that you write the word suspect only to give yourself permission to persist in your daydreams. If your suspicions really only suspicions and not just a way of dressing up your delusional convictions in a seemingly more acceptable doubt, you would regard your suspicions not as guides to hidden truths, but would recognize your suspicions as your mind gaslighting you, denying you a real life might have if you fully embrace the help toward recovery being offered to you. It may be then that your mind only appears to be going back and forth between two different points of view, and that in your heart of hearts you maintain only one position, that your family is gaslighting, in which case your use of the word suspicions functions to disguise your enduring convictions. If so, this isn't a true example of double bookkeeping, because you're only really looking at one set of books. One last thought. You invoke the phrase, let's call a spade, when you want to make a point that it is obvious that your family and doctors are torturing you. That phrase is intended to invite people to be honest and to acknowledge what you perceive to be an obvious truth. Because I think you repeating this phrase, let's call a spade, leads you farther and farther away from recovery. I will use the same phrase now to show that other people can use this phrase in an effort to lead you back to reality. Andrew, let's call a spade. You are mirrored in a daydream of persecutors and can't find your way out because you are too afraid to press on in the real world. Although you have made gains in socializing recently, each time you take a step towards real friends, your chief persecutory, your own mind, throws up anxieties and obstacles that make you worry about what you think, feel, and do will be perceived by others. That is the true battlefield where you must fight for your mental life. The place where your mind offers up a minefield of obstacles when you try to proceed with a true recover process. Your mother informs me that you have a NAMI meeting the day of your birthday. I am open to meeting the following week for our last session. Dr. G.